Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the 110th episode of Twisted Strands. My name is JD, but you can also call me Jeannie. And welcome. It's been a nice, better week, and I have decided to do a slight definition of why I like Cape May and all that stuff. And the British have a common term for it, and I'm looking it up right now because I am lazy. And also because I don't have my iPod with me. It is recharging. But anyway, there's this word that I heard on the audio podcast called Twee. And Hoxton Hen made mention that she liked the Rowan books and country roads and all that because it was Twee. And I said, that sounds like the kind of stuff I go for. So anyway, according to Merriam-Webster, Twee is Twee, and it's a British term, and it's affectively affectedly or excessively dainty, delicate, cute, or quaint. So the example they give was that movie was a bit twee for my taste. And if you've ever gone to a cute touristy town with Victorian houses and tea shop and restaurants and ice cream parlors and stuff like that, that would fit into the definition of twee. And I enjoy a lot of twee in my visual life. I like dainty, delicate lace shawls. I like old houses, and I don't like vintage fashion all that much because I tend to go more for the plain stuff for myself, but I love looking at Gothic and Victorian and older dress for my dolls or just to look at and all that. And yeah, dainty, delicate trellises on houses and pretty gingerbread homes, all those cute, sweet things. I love it, and that's one of the many reasons I love going to Cape May. It is full of Twee. I'd love to do a freaking Google search for that, or Google image search. That's what I would do. This week's drink is cranberry just cranberry light and seltzer water. As I'm on my last day of antibiotic, so hopefully I won't need any medicine next week and I will get to drink a beer with you for once. It's been a while. Been since, what was it, the 16th? No, 15th that I've had a drink. Been a while. And yes, let's get on. You know I'm into the cute things. And now let's go on to yarn. Now I hadn't been spinning for a while, but we had a spinning party in one of my knit groups, so I said, oh hell, I'll lug the machine in and I'll lug my fiber project, and so this is what I've been working on. Ooh, the color shows up brilliantly. It really is that shiny. And it's a beautiful bat that I spun. This is one bit of it. I'm not trying to go for thin. I'm actually trying to go for when it's plied. Blech! I'm trying to go for a worsted weight. I may or may not get that. It can live. It's for a shawl. Hopefully I'll get enough yardage. Now that's one of my concerns. I have two of the bats, two of the 3-ounce bats, and it's lovely and sparkly. And the purveyor of these gorgeous art bats is Butterfly Girl, and she is still in business on Etsy. So I highly recommend her things. And that particular color, show it to you again, is Blackbird. She has both vegan and regular bats in most of her colorways, and her stuff is so awesome and beautiful. Watch her now be out of business or something because I recommended her. Oh, where can we find her stuff? Nowhere. Yes, hopefully mentioning things on my podcast is not the kiss of death. But anyway, yes, that's what I'm spinning is going to be for a shawl. The pattern for the shawl is called Raven, and it requests a worsted weight, like a Super Saver. But I'm going all out because I love the name, and I've been wanting to make this yarn ever since I started spinning. And I've had those two bets just about as long as I've been spinning. Even before the wheel, folks. That's a long time. So anyway, that's the only new yarn, and I'll tell you why, because goodness sake, I've done some cleaning in the room. I know it doesn't look like it, but yes, I've cleaned up the room a bit. It'll look even better next week, I promise. And blah. I'm a little bit wheezy because my dad, God's love him, and so do I, but he sprayed Raid ant killer into the garbage because I pointed out that there were ants in it. So he sprayed it near the fucking dining room table. I'm not happy with him right now, but I'll forgive him. I forgave him already. That's just a mini event. Sorry. So I'm a little bit... I've been working hard. So, back around, and that train was certainly derailed. Forgive me. Anyway, so what I was doing, I was carefully packing up all the yarn, putting it into Ziploc bags, which I recommend, and I put it into a larger bag that I had lying about, because I'm just that type of girl. And so I ended up with 4 massive shopping bags filled with yarn that was either given to me, traded for, or purchased by myself. And, you know, I know it's half the year's over, but goodness, did I really buy that much yarn? And the answer is yes. So I am putting myself on a moratorium for buying more yarn or fiber. I don't have the room. I don't know when I'll need it. Except for the yarn that I asked Sadie to dye up for me for the skull shawl. That doesn't count. It's for a project that is going to be wound up and used right away. So anyway. Yeah, no more yarn or fiber for me. Maybe I'll get a little bit at the New Jersey Sheep and Wool and some at the Rhinebeck, but I just don't know. I can't, how do you say, rationalize buying another skein, no matter how fucking gorgeous everybody dyes it. I mean, especially some of the dyers I'm friends with on Florico. Man, too many talented people these days. I can't afford it, and I shouldn't get any. So anyway, after all of that mumbling, let me tell you about what I'm working on. I am working on 2 things specifically. I'm working on this really cute dishcloth. It's called the Reflections Dishcloth. Oh, that's the wrong side. Sorry. This is designed by Jane Lattale, and it's published in the Splash of Colors Leisure Arts booklet. And it's really neat. And let me just show you more of what it looks like on the cover of the book. So, this is it. I think it'll really look good. This is the Peaches and Cream yarn, Black Cherry Ombres, and it was gifted to me by the generous threesome of Bella Socks, Netta, and Steven. And thank you. I love it. I'm using it. I think it's awesome sauce. And oddly enough, this is a booklet given to me by my cousin Bridget, so you can find it. Hopefully it's got a bunch of really keen patterns. So that is a cool thing. I'm also still bending over backwards for you to see how much I care. I picked this up again after ignoring it for the socks. Picked up the skull shawl. I've attached the eyes now. And I've done a row after. So, yay, you can tell they're skulls. It's wicked cool. And I'm just working along. I'm getting a little nervous, but I know Sadie has my back. I still have plenty though. Isn't that gorgeous? Maybe she'll add it to her repertoire of colors. But anyway, that's the skull by, let me turn to the word doc that I've got open here. Kungen och Majkis. I do not speak Sweden, and I apologize to all those that are Swedish for murdering that poor sweet girl's name. And those are the two main things. Now, I'm not really going into the item that is hibernating because I am not getting along with the pattern. It's the stitch pattern. And a bit of how it's written. But I am struggling so hard with this pattern. It's the textured acorn hat. It's quite possibly me. I'm put off by the stitch pattern. It changes and stuff and junk. It's a test knit, and I finally told her I don't know what's wrong with me and this pattern. Sometimes I feel like I get it, sometimes I don't. I shall persevere and finish this hat because I'm still determined to finish it, even if it's screwed up, and I'm determined to donate it to Emily's Hats for Hope. So the person might think it's stupid looking, but maybe not. Maybe they'll love it. Maybe they'll realize that I do it because I care, and they'll be like, oh, this lady made me a hat with really ugly acorns in it because she cares about homeless or working poor. Yeah, I know there's lots more I can do for the poor, but really, not in this point. Anyway, I'd rather do charity knitting and keep people warm. I can't give them a house or something. And yeah, I haven't touched my beautiful curse breaker shawl. I will once I finish more of the skull breaker and that hat maybe. I'm gonna keep knitting dishcloths because I figure, shit, almost time for Christmas knitting. No need to remind me of that. So, oh, and don't forget, you can still join me. You know what? I'm going to extend the crochet along for the skull shawl another month because, look, I'm halfway done if I'm lucky. So why should I put a update on finishing for the end of this month. You know what? Let's work hard on it for August. And I figure once I finish mine, I'll ask how everybody else is doing on theirs, if anybody's doing it. It's a crochet along with the Chaotic and Crafty podcast. Now, she just moved, so she's been on a bit of hiatus, but she's not giving up on her listeners or the shawl, and this is the prize I'm going to give. My hand spun sport weight Lamney. So that's still in the running. So please participate in the thread. Let me know how you're doing, or if you have questions. I'd love to hear from you. And I have no finished objects. I suppose I will have a few dishcloths done. And future projects, I'm just gonna try and do more work on the whips, because seriously, I could use that. Now, I know you haven't seen me trying out my tank top that I finished a while. I'm not happy with how the shoulders look, so I'm going to be trying some kind of technique to make the shoulders a little bit shorter or in some areas, because right now they just stick out. It's really silly and awkward looking on me. So that entails me ripping out the crocheted shoulder again and taking out a few rows of knitting and redoing that. It sucks, but I want something that I want to wear, and it is really cute. So I'm gonna fix that, and once I fix my ribbed cable tank, I will show it to you all. Hopefully by wearing it. No guarantees that I'll finish it this month or week. Can you believe it's almost August? Jesus. Anyway, so that's what's bumbling around with my crafting. I'm back to spinning. I'm pissed at a hat and engaging in dishcloth knitting once again, and I'm enjoying my skull shawl. That's what I'm up to. I will be sewing myself some clothes later on this August for fun. And oh, you know what? This will be part of the whole giveaway thing. I'm gonna do a giveaway. Let's go right to stuff and junk. Stuff and junk. I'm giving away a baby book because I don't have anybody who's having children anymore. And I don't really feel like making baby things. Alright, so anyway, this came with my Simply Knitting, and I have no use for it. It's got adorable gifts to knit for the best dressed little boys and girls, suitable for ages 0 to 3 years. So whoever would like a shot at winning this, just post a comment on the thread that I will open up today on the Twisted Strands Ravelry group. So anybody wants a cute baby, see, there's more pictures of the baby knits that you can win. Whoever wants this book, just leave a comment on the board thread that I will put up. So that's new. There you go, 110th episode drawing. And what else? What have I been watching? Well, I did record Sharknado, like I was squealing about last week. I recorded it. I have not had time because I was doing all this cleaning the room and doing laundry and spinning and knitting stuff. So, nothing on Sharknado. I did watch a little Doctor Who, which was keen. I finally watched Don't Blink, and I wasn't very scared by it. I highly enjoyed it. It was a really good episode. Made me cry a little, as some of the better ones do, and Then I watched the one after it, which was, wow, violent and creepy and scary. It was, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but let me just say this. They introduce a new character who is also a time traveler. Is that a spoiler? Fuck, I'm sorry. Anyway, they did introduce this dude, the Master, and he's a real asshole. And I did do some research on him, and he's real bad. So I wonder how the next few episodes are gonna go. It was on a to be continued. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh hell no, I'm not staying up for this. So I didn't. I only watched half of a special thing. Yes, itchy nose. Anyway, what else is there? Blah blah blah. And yes, I still have a donate button on the blog. That's all I have for the rest of my notes. So anyway, let me just take time out to give you my contact information. My name on Ravelry is JD, and that's always spelled JADEE. I have an email address at jadeealt@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook, where I play games and blather about things. Sometimes. Usually I just share knitting tips from all the yarn stores and stuff and cartoons. And that is JD Huff. And Pinterest, Plurk, Twitter, and I think Instagram. I don't do much on Instagram. I am JD666. I am on Plurk every day. And you can find the podcast on YouTube under my account name, which is JD Doll. And that's where the podcast is cast. And you can also find it on the blog at Twisted Strands with an extra s.blogspot.com. And even though blurp excuse me, pardon, even though those sons of bitches at Blip TV took off my podcast and stopped transmitting it and all that shit, and now you can't even find me on iTunes, which sucks balls. Apparently you can still catch the podcast on my blog, which is there, and all the episodes that were put on Blip are still there. At least I think they are. Anyway, I'm still trying to convince myself to keep putting the old ones up there. So I'm gonna try to keep doing that. But if you really miss me, just go to the blog, and there's old episodes there. At least until they figure out where the Blip finds out where they are and deletes them all. Because they're dicks. Yeah, still a little bit mad, but not really. I just hope they don't do it to anybody else. I haven't heard of anybody else doing it. Some people are doing safety measures, but other than that, it seems like a few of us have gotten booted, and that's it. I hope so. But anyway, let me close off by saying thank you ever so much to all of my viewers, old and young, man or woman, or child, or beast. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and I appreciate your watching my show when there are so many other podcasts out there. And so thank you so much. Love you all. And I always like to close on a positive note. That's all. That's positive. But yes, whenever you're making crafts, whether it's knitting, crocheting, spinning, cross-stitching, macrame, whatever it is. When you craft, you're making the world a better place, and there's so much beauty in that. And that's it. Have a good week, and we'll see you again on Monday. Take care.